Hello one and all and welcome back aboard the home of Hype Train Football Club. 2 weeks after our first pre-season game of the season, the squad found themselves travelling to the Slough area again on Saturday the 15th of August 2020 as we took on Slough heating Laurencians A side at the Polish club. With the squad looking to bounce back after defeat last time out and playing in our home navy blue kit once more, we started with the towering Jack Grosh in between the sticks. Ahead of Jack was another debutant Marin Pendov, lining up with Joe Sawyer in the heart of defence, whilst both were flanked by Robert Austin and Rod Stevens in the fullback positions. Our midfield consisted of another debutant, Colin Sakemchi, in the holding role, with Clayton Holloway and Callum Fox-Spence ahead of Collins. Dom Clark and John Watkins provided width in midfield, with Phil Newport playing the lone forwards role. Off the bench were a third and fourth pairing making their debuts, with Lewis Thompson and Inigo Lanzagorta joined by Chris Marshall and Danny Setioan off the substitutes bench. We hope that you enjoy extended highlights from an intense afternoon in Slough against a good side, and if you love the content that we create here at the Hype Train, make sure to hit that subscribe button and to check out our brand new club dedicated website over at hypetrainfce.com. First in on the action, a long punt from Jack Grosh goes down the right hand channel with John Watkins left to chase. Watkins wins the first header and then competes with the second ball, which falls to Callum Fox-Spence, who heads in the way of Phil Newport. Phil flicks it on with his head past one of the defenders, then lays in Watkins down the right wing, with John taking one big touch. Watkins has a look up and delivers a ball into the centre of the goal, but Slough are able to clear. A throw-in down the right wing provides an opportunity for Slough to have their first real opportunity of the game when they punt it down the field. The long ball is floated up into the air with a Slough player winning it on, flicking it to one of their forwards. Joe Sawyer though is at hand excellently to clear. The resulting corner kick floats to the back post and it's well contested between ourselves and Slough before it falls out to one of their players a few yards out who has an opportunity to stab at goal. From a set piece, myself, Robert Austin, floats the ball into the edge of the box with Phil Newport competing with the ball, and it falls in front of one of the Slough defenders. The counter-attack is on, down the left-hand side as Callum Fox-Spence and Colin Sakemchi aim to close down the ball. There's a bit of a mix-up as Joe Sawyer loses the ball and it falls out to the left winger, who has a look up and he plays the ball in field. The number 44 takes it well onto his right foot and the shot goes agonisingly wide. Just a little bit of skill for you as John Watkins picks up the ball down the right hand side and holds up well. He plays the ball into Phil Newport, but the ball scurried away with Joe putting the ball back into play in midfield. The ball fouls out to Callum Fox-Spence, who twists and turns and eventually deceives his opponent. There's then an opportunity from the left hand side for a throw, with Robert Austin throwing the ball into Dom Clark's feet. Dom does well to hold off his opponent and turns away brilliantly before he's fouled and a free kick's awarded. The eventual free kick from Rod Stevens is floated in at the back post, and as the ball floats in and in and in, it goes over everybody and just out for a goal kick. Here's one for the blooper reel at my own personal expense as the ball is competed with in midfield. Callum Fox-Spence's long ball eventually is uncontested and falls out to a Slough player, with Matty Aranguiz on the ball for Slough and he flicks it over my head. The ball, as I come brave bounding in, smacks me in the head and I'm out of commission. There's another opportunity for Slough in midfield as they pick up the ball and the number 6 is able to turn away well. He looks down the channel and finds his forward, who's held up by Marin Pendov. He twists and turns, but Marin's got an opportunity to block and he does it, and then we're able to clear the ball away as the shot's rebounded off their player. The counter-attack was on for the team after a Slough throw-in down the right-hand side was cleared and mopped up well by Dom Clark. Running into the field was Callum Fox-Spence, who had acres in front of him on a big wide pitch, and he plays out to John Watkins on the right. The bobbling ball eventually falls to John, with Callum pointing where he wants the ball. Callum shifts into a position where he's able to run into the box and he's got one defender to beat. He jinks in, but his shot balls up. Unfortunately, he goes just agonisingly wide. Another opportunity to test Slough's back line happens when John Watkins picks up a throw from Rod Stevens, who then recollects the ball and drifts the ball into the centre of the goal. Slough on their right hand side decide that they want to play it around at the back, but Dom Clark's at hand to press high and win well, with Phil Newport picking up the scraps. Phil takes one touch before unleashing a shot, but it unfortunately doesn't test the goalkeeper. A big chance for the home side arrives midway through the first half as Jack Grosh collects a long distance punt at goal with no real hope. Jack then plays out the ball to Joe Sawyer, but the ball is a little bit overplayed with their left winger collecting well. Jack makes an excellent recovery and stabs on the ball to keep the score goalless. The tide of the game changed after 35 minutes when Slough played the ball down the right hand side and lumped the ball into the box. Rod Stevens at right back was able to punt the ball away very well, with Callum Fox-Spence at hand to control the ball before playing the ball down the right hand side. John Watkins has a chance to look up and then play back in Callum, with Callum through at goal. Their captain and centre back tried with Callum in the penalty area, with the referee pointing to the penalty spot immediately. Making an excellent run and being fouled for the penalty wasn't enough reward for Callum as he stepped up to take the penalty himself. The number 7 stands over the ball and buries the effort into the bottom right corner, our first goal in pre-season. Immediately after, the team make life hard on themselves as we give away a free kick, with the number 44 floating in a ball at the back post, with Jack Grosh stabbing a hand away for a corner. The resulting corner kick was the final play of the half as the ball is floated into the back post, with myself, Robert Austin, flicking the ball away with the referee blowing for the half-time whistle. The second half starts in a feisty manner as Slough work the ball down their right hand channel before it falls into the feet of their number 44. He runs onto a through ball with Marin Pendorf coming out, and as you can see, the player kind of falls on the ball and then over Marin, and the two come into a bit of a collision as the referee and myself have to pull Marin and the players apart. An individual moment of brilliance nearly got Slough back into the game as we're under the cosh in the second half, as we're trying to clear our lines from a defensive action. Rod Stevens heads the ball away and it falls out to the number 6, who's got time to take the ball down before he plays it back out. There's a first time touch and a cross that falls into the number 44, who does an overhead kick that's looping, with Jack Grosh just able to tip the ball over. One feature of the game that shouldn't go underestimated here is just how much Jack Grosh did this in the game. He collects the ball again and again and again from set piece opportunities. Defending for most of the second half, we have a little bit of relief down the right hand side as Lewis Thompson finds Clayton Holloway in midfield. Clayton takes one touch to find Callum Fox, with Foxy able to turn and try to find Innie and Danny down the left hand side. Danny's touch is a little bit wayward as it falls back into Callum, who competes for the ball before Slough clear the ball out only to Lewis. Lewis takes one touch and a second, which is a shot, and it falls straight into Danny's feet, but he's unable to collect, with the goalkeeper collecting the ball. Deep into the second half at this point, Slough is still probing and they hit a looped ball into the box, with one of their players claiming that Joe Sawyer handled the ball. The number 6 eventually gets the ball and decides that he wants to take a shot, but Jack's able to collect well. There's more defending to be done in the second half as there's a bobbly ball in midfield. Clayton Holloway's at hand to try and clear the ball away, but it falls into myself, Robert Austin's feet, before the right winger tries to contest the ball with me. I turn him around and then try to play Innie down the left wing, but Slough are able to clear their lines. This next slice of action sees what would have been a yellow card in a competitive game as we're trying to play the ball around in the midfield. The ball falls out to Danny Setuan, who takes a heavy touch and then off the ball tries to recover, with him winning the ball, but then Slough come through on him hard, winning a free kick at the halfway line. Our best chance in the second half to double the lead fell to Lewis Thompson, and the move started when Jack Grosh picks him out well down the right flank. Lewis chests the ball down well and he's got Callum Fox-Spence and Chris Marshall to aim at, with Chris picking up the ball in midfield. Lewis continues his run down the right, and as you see, the space opens up for him and he takes one touch before unleashing a shot or a cross. The home side were back on the attack, and it started when one of their players drifts the ball around Danny Setuan before he's able to play it into midfield. There's one touch up and then a ping down the right flank, which goes straight to their right midfielder. He takes one touch and he wins the ball, and he's able to cross in at the back post, but it evades everybody before falling back into one of their players, but Marin Pendorf's able to clear the ball. Once again, another feature of the game is Jack Grosh collecting the ball. From the resulting drop of the ball, Jack's able to punt the ball down the field and he picks out Danny Setuan. The Slough defender is unable to clear his lines and makes a bit of a hash of it as Danny charges for a goal. He hits a long left-footed shot, but is unable to trouble the goalkeeper. Another set piece for Slough and another opportunity to test our back line as one of their players eventually wins a header, but it doesn't trouble Jack in goal. The Slough onslaught kept coming and coming and coming in the second half, with Callum Fox-Spence trying to clear his lines. The number 40 blocks the ball and turns out well, and he's able to find out one of their midfielders. He looks up and plays in the number 44, who can drive in at goal or play in the right midfielder, but myself, Robert Austin's at hand to clear the ball away. There's another Slough chance here as they play the ball through the middle, with the ball eventually trying to be pinged around. Maren Pendorf gets the ball away, but the ball is pumped back in immediately, and there's a little push in the back on Joe Sawyer, with one of their substitutes narrowly going wide. And then once again there's another set piece opportunity here for Slough, another header at the back post, and once again it goes wide of the mark. Into the dying minutes of the game, Slough pick up the ball from a throw-in and they're trying to play the ball into the box as much as they can. Another hefty ball goes in and it falls into one of their midfielders, but myself Rob is able to clear the ball away. An action which is pretty much repeated a couple of minutes later from the throw-in. See Slough pick up the ball and they try to play it into one of their midfielders. They look up and have a shot which goes a bit wayward, and then they try to play the ball out left. The ball eventually comes back into the box again with a cross, and it falls out to the same player, and I'm once again able to clear the ball. Working the right hand channel with a throw in, the ball falls out to Slough as they're trying to work a crossing opportunity. Innie clears the ball, but it falls out to one of their players as we're all out defence. The ball falls out to their right back, who then pumps another ball into the box, and it falls, guess where? Straight into the hands of Jack Roche. The last play of the action once again comes from a throw-in down the right hand side as they're trying to work it into the box. The ball falls out to one of their midfielders as Lewis Thompson tries to clear the ball away, but it loops up in the air. He's able to take one touch and turn, and the ball goes just wide of Jack's post. Weathering the storm in the second half, we managed to keep our wits about us and our clean sheet intact, meaning that we make the journey home from Slough as victors due to Callum Fox-Spence' first half penalty. We'll be back in action next time with more pre-season action as we gear up for an October start in the East Berkshire Football League's First Division. Until next time, believe the hype.